Hi, it's Andrew here from Home Theatre Engineering. We're installing a new cinema, and this is a small room. So it measures 3 meters wide, 4 meters long, and I'm not sure, but the ceiling height is just out of my reach. So as you can see, we've already put the LCRs up. Now these are theory loudspeakers. It's a theory system. Unfortunately, at the time when the system was spec'd, the theory subwoofers were not available, so it's a bit of a hybrid. So we've got two REL subwoofers going in the front here. So I'll try and give you a bit of a run around the room. Behind me is the left wall. We've already got the battens up for some of our acoustic panels. Behind me is the front wall. So we've got a baffle wall to go in there, and we've already got the mounts for the screen. And then behind me you can see the screen just laying against the wall. There's more acoustic panels to go there. You can hear the echo and the reverberation in this room. We don't want to take it all out, we just want to manage any sort of troublesome issues. We've got an awkward, you probably can't see it on camera, there's a recess here with a large sort of block in the corner, so we've had to get some custom panels made to deal with that. In the back here we've got a rack which is going to have a door fitted on it, and the projector's going to sit on a shelf in there. And then we've got a little room off to the side there which the client's going to keep for their own storage. There are only 2 seats going in this room. And the other challenge we've had is, even with just the 2 seats, the left and right speakers are very, very close to the listeners. So what we've done is taken the dispersion patterns of the theory loudspeakers. We've got the speakers going slightly to the back on the left and right. So they'll still be left and right surrounds, but they're a little more rear than we'd like them. But given, you know, we're sort of using the acoustics of the room to work in our favour, and then there'll be 2 Atmos in ceiling speakers as well. And we'd like to be able to show you what you can achieve in a small room. So sit tight and watch this space, as they say. Okay, so the room's complete. Let's go down and take a look. So as we said in the YouTube shorts, this is a 3 meter by 4 meter room, and we've had to make it work really well. You can probably even tell by the sound of my voice that this room is sounding very, very different. It's still live, but it's not very reflective, and the decay time is decent, and we've still got a nice response from the speakers. So this is a theory system. Behind the screen here we have 3 SB25s, and we also have 2 SB25s at the rear. We've obviously got our HTE acoustic panels and some DC3 Skyline diffusers, and then we've got a 100-inch screen which is stood off the wall, so it's floating. I don't know if you can see that. So this is the screen here, this is the back wall here. We do this all the time, and there's no visible support for the screen. We've got 2 REL 1205s that are obviously wired to the equipment rack in the back. The seats are just under 3 meters from the screen, and I'll show you the equipment rack. At the back we have the Sony Laser XW5000, and we had this rack door built for us just to hide everything. The sources are really simple, it's just an Apple TV. We have an Anthem AVM70 here, and we have the ALC 1709 theory amplifier sitting down the bottom that's triggered off the Anthem. There's a network switch, there's a power board that's very easy to access at the back there, and then there's some cables that's for the client's own lighting. We've then built a custom shelf here that fits perfectly in line with the door, that then supports the projector, and then there's an exhaust fan that pulls the hot air out from that. So that's about it. There's a drop pelmet on the roof that goes around the entire room, and we've used that to hide some of the cabling, and of course we've got the row 1 seating. So looking from the back of the room, that's pretty much what we see. I'll get my head out of the light. Okay. And looking from the front of the room, that's how that looks. hopefully without too much lens flare from the projector. So we've hidden pretty much everything. We're very happy with the result. We just finished the room calibration, we finished the audio and the video. So adjusted the black levels. The XW5000 on the screen, the size, the black levels are quite high, so we had to drop those down a bit. So we've got a really nice black level on there now. Everything else has calibrated really well. We used the presets in the theory in the ALC to set up the speakers, and then we did a room correction in the Anthem with ARC, but we only corrected up to the Schroeder or the room transition frequency, and then we left the rest of that to the speakers and the theory setup. We checked the time alignment with the subwoofers, we checked the phase with the subwoofers. I've got to say, this room is pretty spectacular. I don't know if you can tell from the sound of my voice, but you know, we've come a long way with this room. So 3.5 days it's taken from bare bones to completely finished, installed, wired up, tuned, calibrated, programmed, done. That's it. I think the only improvements that you can make in here, which I would strongly recommend, would be some sort of air conditioning. At the moment it's only got the exhaust fan. We have discussed that with the client, and also I would suggest a control system. Look, there's only 3 remotes, but a control system functions that and the lights, and it just works really, really well. And compared to what you pay for a room, you know, a good control system makes life easy. It also means that you can have someone like a guest come in and they can just operate the system. It's pretty fundamental. That's about it. There are some LED lights which the customer's doing with it. We're not doing those. I'll see if I can just turn those on so you can see, and obviously they're color changing just around the pelmet there. This is it's a basement, so there's some very, very solid brickwork here, but the good thing is it manages the base really, really well, so that sounds fantastic. I'll see if I can put on a little bit of footage for you. I'll just turn those lights off. I'll turn the main light off, and we'll have a look and a listen and see if we can tell. Again, it's always hard to tell with a camera, but we might put a bit of Blade Runner on and see what you reckon. So there you have it. 2-seater, 3 metre by 4 metre room. Just kill that for a second. Great picture, great sound. It just looks fantastic. Make sure you've got your settings right. Apple TV always seems to jump out of the correct settings, so make sure you've got those correct. Check out our video on the Apple TV settings. But yeah, if you've got a small room and you want to convert it into a dedicated cinema, providing you're happy to only have a couple of seats and you want really good sound, then it's absolutely doable. And we would certainly recommend that a theory or a crick system would be ideal for this. And it all comes down to what space you've got, what budget you've got, what you're looking to achieve. But this room has come from the plans, so if you have a look at the plans and then you have a look at the images of the room, then you should see that the room is pretty much exactly as we planned. The other thing is there's an alcove over there with some resonance, so we've tried to absorb as much of that resonance as we can because we don't want that coming back into the room. Now, bearing in mind, you know, there's a lot of things we would have done to this room, but either budget or not so much time, but budget probably wouldn't allow. But I think that the result we've got, the neatness, I like that custom door on the panel there that hides all the electronics. I'd like to hide that lighting controller, to be honest. But that's about it, really. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can see where we're going with this. And this room, because it's underground, the walls are solid and the bass is just contained in the room. It doesn't bleed out of the room, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's a real chest thumper in here, but it's not droning or overwhelming. There was an interesting comment on YouTube about big rooms, bigger the better, you know, high ceilings, and it's like, you know, you can't get good sound in a small room. Well, you can. It just takes effort, right? It takes effort to plan the room and set it up properly. but I would put this room up against this person's big rooms, just because we've spent so much time in making sure that the base management especially is correct, that the seats are in the right position, and that everything's working. But it's all right and well and good to say big rooms are best, but this is the size room the customer had. All we could do is make it smaller. He wasn't going to spend millions on digging out his block again. So, you know, for us, and having been building cinemas for 20 years, we have had to learn to fit in with what the customer wants. You know, if customer comes to us and this is the room I've got for the home theatre, you know, we may ask if there's any options. But at the end of the day, that's the room we've got. That's the space we've got. And it's up to us to make it work. It's not up to us to turn around and say to most customers, you have to have a room this size and it must be really big. We've done big rooms, and when we've had that opportunity and the customers come to us and said, look, I can build any room you want, then we'll do that. Now, what we do with that is we use a room size calculations, and we look at room mode scenarios. So we have a calculator that we use, which I'll try and pop up here, and from that we work out the modal response of the room, and then we work with the optimum ratio of length, width and height, for example, to make sure that regardless of the overall size of the room, the total dimensions of the room, so even if it's a smaller room, we go, okay, we have a look at what's called the Bonello curve, we have a look at how many modal frequencies are being generated, and then from that we can say this is the optimum length, width and height for the room that fits in your area. So we can work with any size. Don't be confused or discouraged by that, and if other people say you can, you can't. So I hope you like this room. We've been really happy. We're looking forward to handing it over to the client, and thank you for tuning in.